Hello everyone, I'm Dalton Burdett.
I am Ryan Warner.
And we are the Movie Nights. Well, some of them. If you're listening to this, it's because you want to hear our uncensored, unfiltered thoughts and opinions about the world of movies. So, right off the bat, before we get into anything, we did have two people, or very recognizable people in the film industry pass away. Both John Singleton and Peter Mayhew have passed away since the last time we were on air. Peter Mayhew famously played Chewbacca in the Star Wars franchise, someone that we all kind of dearly grew up with. And John Singleton was an amazing filmmaker, director of a great film called Boys in the Hood, and he's directed other projects as well, but that's what he's most known for. He was actually the youngest director to be ever nominated for Best Director at the Academy Awards. And, we just wanted to, inform everyone of the two unfortunate passings, and it's a really sad thing, and we wanted to just kind of start the show with that, and then so we can get happier as we go. But let's go ahead and dive into the box office, shall we, Mr. Warner?
Let's do it. I'm going to go ahead and say Endgame took number one. I mean, no surprises.
Very good, job.
Thank you. I mean, it's not really my job to know, but it's like a hobby of mine to know.
Yeah. I'm so confused. Anyway, coming in at number one was Avengers Endgame. It took a 58.7% drop, bringing in $147.3 million. The second weekend.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ, man. Number two was The Intruder. Coming in at 10.8. And it has an $8 million budget, so good for them. Long Shot came in third with a $9.7 million. And Ugly Dolls came in fourth at $8 million on a $45 million budget. And coming in still in the top five was Captain Marvel.
Good.
At $4.2 million.
I'm so happy that movie's still making money.
Oh yeah, same dude. But yeah, Endgame continues to kill it. It officially passed Titanic as the second highest grossing movie of all time, which is crazy. And people are suspecting
Avatar.
People are suspecting at the end of the week it will either have passed Avatar, or after the weekend it will have passed Avatar, or will be really close.
Because it's sitting at 2.1 billion, right?
2.2.
Shit.
It's like 2.19. It's really close.
Okay.
And I didn't think it was gonna cross Avatar. I even said it last week, I think. But clearly, it's going to. It's just a matter of when it's gonna happen. So I was wrong about that. But
I know
now the real question kind of becomes: is it gonna reach 3? Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? On the homepage of Box Office Mojo, are you able to pull that up? Mm-hmm. It has a 10, I guess now like 11 or 12 day comparison between Endgame and The Force Awakens, because as you know, or as we said before, Force Awakens has the highest domestic box office at $900-something million.
Yes.
It's the closest movie to $1 billion domestically, which is huge. But I know Endgame is breaking those numbers as of like right now, right?
Yes and no.
Okay.
In terms of actual numbers, its 10-day total was at 621 million, and Force Awakens was at 540. So in the actual numbers, it has. However, another record that Endgame broke was the biggest money difference in between first and second week, because it opened so high.
Yeah.
I think like it's a number. It's late and math is hard, but it's the number one, like in terms of not percentage but actual number.
Like number drop off.
Yes, but I mean that was going to happen when it opened so high.
Yeah, of course.
But also, it did not break the record for second week of all time. Good God, English is hard. But it didn't break the record for biggest second weekend of all time.
Okay. Which
is still held by The Force Awakens.
Okay.
The Force Awakens opened to 100 million less, which means that was a really impressive second week that it had. It barely dropped.
Well, it also came out during the holiday season, so they had a lot of time.
Which is true. Yeah, but that's just something to look at. Because if you're asking me, and I've been wrong on the show all the time, but if you're asking me, I don't think Endgame beats the domestic Force Awakens number.
Okay.
I will, obviously now, I think it's going to beat Avatar. I didn't last week, but I do now based off of the numbers we have.
Yeah. And
will it get to 3? I don't know.
The first movie that hits it, that'll be monumental.
It'd be cool, but I don't know.
And we talked about this a few weeks ago, but further down on that page is Get Out and Us.
Yes.
Seeing if Us would have legs to beat Get Out. I can't remember the whole conversation, but I know that was like the topic.
Yeah, Us is 45-day total is 173, and Get Out's was 162. so it's made more. But I also think Us opened higher than Get Out.
Okay.
So, but I mean, around the same legs and around the same profits, like, you know,
Yeah.
it made its money.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for Jordan Peele. Curious to see what he does next.
Yeah, same.
But no, I saw that on the homepage the other day, and it reminded me of the topic that we were talking about a few weeks ago. Like I said, I couldn't remember the context, but I knew that we talked about it to see if Us would have the legs that Get Out did. But yeah, monster numbers that Endgame's just racking in.
Yeah, huge. And it's a huge monumental event in cinematic history, and I look forward to seeing the more records that it breaks. God, English. Jesus.
And you know what? It's crazy too that Endgame took the number 2 spot from Titanic, because Titanic held the number 1 and number 2 spot for 22 years. Yeah, 22 years. That's insane.
For a while, James Cameron had the number 1 and 2 spot.
Yeah, not anymore.
Not anymore.
You know, whenever Endgame takes that number 1 spot.
I can't wait for James Cameron to say some dumb shit. I love James Cameron so much, especially as a filmmaker. He's one of the greatest filmmakers that have ever lived. You could even make the argument that he's possibly the greatest filmmaker of all time. You could make that argument.
Easy.
But he says some stuff that's just completely outlandish when it comes to, you know, what's popular in cinema now.
Yeah.
Like, if you remember his comments about Wonder Woman when that was really popular, pretty much. I'm paraphrasing, and it's not what he was going for, but what it came across as is, she's not as good as my female characters. That's really what the statement came across as. It was just talking about how comparing her to Sarah Connor, and
that's because he knows who he is, and he doesn't give a fuck.
It came across very whatever. And someone asked him, because Aquaman made $1 billion.
Someone was comparing him to James Wan, because that's what it was.
Yeah, and they were like, "What did you think of? Like, do you think it's an achievement?" And he was like, "I mean, Aquaman was cool, but it's nothing like a movie I'd make, because movies I make are all, you know, grounded in realism." And he like did this whole like fucking just pretentious thing. Yeah. I mean, and then eventually though he kind of clarified and just said, "No, I thought the film was good. It's just that I'm saying it's not the film that I would make." Yeah. But just initially, it came across very like, "Okay, buddy."
And then now that James Wan has like 2 different movie franchises that hit $1 billion, people were comparing James Wan to him, and James Cameron basically said, "Well, fucking do it with multiple movies, not just 2 different franchises," or something like that. Like he was like, "Yeah, you gotta."
He was like, "Get the $2 billion, and then we'll start
talking." $2 billion. That's what it was. Get the $2 billion, then we'll talk, not just 1.
Yeah.
God, fucking. That's because he knows who he is, and he doesn't care. Like he knows no one can touch him.
No, dude, no. And honestly, until these Avatar movies come out, the sequels that he's making, he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
You know what? I'll be real honest about Avatar. I just thought it was okay.
No, I agree, but there were a lot of people who thought that it was incredible. And part of the reason why I think that film was so successful was because it like Endgame, I mean, it didn't have the history of the MCU, but it was an event. Like, people were like, "Yo, you gotta go see."
It was groundbreaking for sure.
Especially the 3D technology, because 3D is something that I hate, but when Avatar 2 comes out, I'm gonna go in 3D. Just because how James Cameron utilizes 3D is insane. Yeah. So I'm gonna see that. And what's gonna be really curious, you know, in 20 years when we see Avatar 2, is gonna be how pop culturally relevant it still is. Yeah. Because that's going to be interesting to see.
It's been 10 years since that first movie came out.
And I think that 2 doesn't come out until 2021 or something like that.
Really? Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, so we'll see. But he's shooting all the sequels at the same time, though, so that's interesting.
Odd.
Yeah. But dude,
is that why it's taking so long?
Yep. And, you know, I heard that there's going to be motion capture underwater.
He is always trying to find a new...
He always pushes that boundary, dude. Like, he's insane. But, I mean, dude, if he pulls it off... Yeah, you know, that's time will tell. We'll see. But moving on.
Holy shit! Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
What?
No, that fucking blew my mind.
Yeah.
Motion capture. Oh, what the? It's hard enough to do it fucking on land.
No. But I remember Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was the first movie to do it on location instead of in a set.
Okay.
And I know Infinity War did it on location too for a few scenes. Mm-hmm. But I'm pretty sure it was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Correct me if I'm wrong, and you know, all 12 of you listening, but I'm pretty sure it was Dawn of the Planet of the Apes that first did it on location.
Okay.
I could be wrong though. But moving on to some of the new topics we have lined up. I like Leonardo DiCaprio. Do you like Leonardo DiCaprio?
Oh, he's great.
He is wonderful, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he has joined Guillermo Del Toro's new movie called Nightmare Alley. This comes to us via...
Is that the ninja movie?
I think so. I'm pulling it up now. This comes to us via Variety. Guillermo Del Toro famously, most recently directed The Shape of Water, which won Best Picture and gave him the Best Director Oscar. Directed such films as Hellboy, Hellboy 2, The Good Ones, fuck you, and
Pan's Labyrinth.
And Pan's Labyrinth, yes.
That movie's fucking good.
Yeah, great films. But as I'm pulling this up, just what are your thoughts on Guillermo del Toro as a filmmaker, and are you excited to see him collaborate with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Every movie I've seen of Guillermo del Toro's, I love. They're all very different, but have like a monster element to it, which is always fun. Leonardo DiCaprio, I could say the same thing about him. I love everything he's in. I think he's a phenomenal actor. Very excited to see what he does in Tarantino's movie, and then Guillermo del Toro's after. But I'm excited to see them collaborate. I'm excited to see what kind of performance Guillermo del Toro pulls out of Leonardo DiCaprio, and what kind of role he's going to be playing, whether he's going to be playing like a monster, oh, you have it?
It's not a ninja movie.
Oh, okay. Shit, he's working on like 3 different fucking movies right now.
Apparently it's a remake of sorts of a film that came out in 1947, but it's taking it, because it's based on a novel.
Okay.
Apparently they're just going, readapting the novel and not necessarily the old film.
Okay.
But in the old film, it's about 2 ambitious young psychiatrists who are very corrupt, and they try to fleece people with a mentalist act, but then she flips the tables on him, one of the psychiatrists, and, as it quotes in Variety, out-manipulates the manipulator. So if it's going to be some mind shit like that,
Prestige.
I'm real stoked.
Guillermo del Toro's Prestige, that's what I'm getting.
Guillermo del Toro and Leonardo.
God, he's going to be a busy man. He's working on the stop-motion Pinocchio for Netflix. Yeah. He's working on this ninja movie and this. God, dude, he's gonna have a fat payday.
Oh yeah.
Good for him though. He deserves it.
Yeah. And by the way, I know you see the title of this video. I know the topic you want me to talk about. I'm saving it to the end. I was gonna do it first, and I even told him we were gonna do it first. I'm saving it till the end. You just fucking wait. We're gonna move on to our next story though.
Yeah.
And this is coming to us via Deadline.
Okay.
You know how much I love Daddy Affleck.
Yeah.
I love him with all my heart. I just want to give him a hug.
Yeah.
So bad.
Him and his fucking back tattoo.
Oh, dude. I love his back tattoo. Don't talk shit.
What a guy.
But he is finally going to get back in the director's chair. He has a few projects lined up.
Batman? Too soon?
Yes. It's always too soon. Even after the four people have played him after him.
Yeah.
No. But he's getting back in the director's chair. He has a few projects lined up, but this one is called Ghost Army, and it is, and it's based on a true story. It's based on a World War II team, a secret force of, I'm quoting Deadline, secret force that relied on sleight of hand and illusion to trick Nazis in 1944. The group of soldiers include luminaires, singers, artists, who landed in France to conduct a secret mission armed with truckloads of inflatable tanks and a massive collection of sound effects recordings. They created the illusion of troop strength on European battlefields to trick the Germans into deploying forces in the wrong places. This sounds fucking awesome, and Ben Affleck sounds right up his alley, because I don't know if you've seen Argo. It's a very similar premise to Argo.
Okay.
Not literally, but in terms of tricking the enemy into thinking one thing and actually doing this. And this is going to be amazing, I think. And I love Ben Affleck, especially as a director. It also says he's going to star, so I'm going to see his beautiful face as well. Love this guy. What are your thoughts on this particular story, and are you excited to see Ben Affleck not only in front of the camera, but also jump behind the camera again as well?
I'm a huge lover and fan of history, and I actually know about this this event. I don't know specifics, but I know that this was a thing that the Allied forces did during World War II. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be very, very awesome to see it on screen, and with Ben Affleck directing it. I don't think I've seen any directed movies from him. Yeah.
What?
So I can't speak on him being a director.
Movies to watch.
Yeah, you have Argo, right?
I have Argo. I think I have every movie he's directed.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Not Batman though.
No fan.
So
Okay, the Batman comments need to stop. I'm going to get sad.
But no, I can't speak on his behalf as a director.
Amazing. That's all I'm going to tell you.
I'll take your word for it. But as a star, I think he's a phenomenal actor.
I think so too.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
I don't think he gets enough credit as an actor, to be honest.
No, not at all.
And he's been in some shit, like especially in
Live by Night.
I haven't seen it. but he directed that. So, yeah. But he's been in some shit, like especially in the early 2000s. Wasn't really good for him. Geely happened.
Oh, okay, yeah. And during that phase,
yeah, Benifer, which was never a good thing for his
not
career.
at all.
But he got out of it, and he fucking directed a movie that won Best Picture. And
yeah.
One day I'm gonna get really upset on the show about him not getting nominated for Best Director because he should have fucking won it regardless. But not that day is not today, because there is a particular topic that I teased on our social media that we're gonna get to now. But first, I'm going to let you explain the whole scenario as to what's happening.
Okay.
And then give your opinion so that they have to wait even longer for mine. Take it away.
So, there's a movie coming out in the fall, right?
I believe it's in the fall, yes.
Sometime in the fall. I don't think it has a specific release date. It just says
probably
fall.
Does, but I don't think it was in the trailer.
Yeah, okay. So in the fall, a movie's coming out called Sonic the Hedgehog. I grew up playing some of the Sonic games. I wouldn't say I'm a diehard fan, but the games are fun. So naturally, I was kind of not excited, but like interested to see how a live-action Sonic movie would go. The trailer came out last week and a half ago. Good talk.
Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
So the trailer came out like a week ago, right?
Yeah, maybe a
week and a half ago.
Yeah, something like that.
Week and a half ago, the trailer came out. I watched it. I didn't think the movie looked too good. I thought it's going to be a hot mess. Nothing really stuck out other than like the last 5 seconds of it with Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. I think he is going to be the best part of the movie. But again, it was just the first trailer. I haven't seen the movie. I don't know any specifics. And I thought Sonic didn't look that good. I thought he looked like a teenager dressed up as Sonic who's also a pedophile. That's what I thought he looked like.
Oof.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, filmmakers have liberties that they can take when making characters. I didn't take to social media. I didn't say anything bad about it, although a lot of people were. A lot of people were saying bad things about it.
Yeah.
Me personally, I was just going to be like, all right, I mean, this sucks, but we're going to have to see what they're going to do with it, because clearly they have something in mind. Mm-hmm. So the director came out 2 or 3 days later to Twitter. I can't remember exactly what he said, but something along the lines of, thanks for the criticism and thanks for the support. We're going to go ahead and just redesign the character. And while I think that's a good idea, and I'll explain why, we have differing views. Dalton and I do. I think it's a good idea because I think this is the studio's way of saying, hey, we tried something new, it didn't work, so we want to make this movie as best as we can for the fans, because obviously there's a lot of fans who love this character, who love the game, so we just want to make him more appealing to the fans, which is kind of what I got from it. And while yes, it's going to make it a little more challenging to redesign the character after they already have the design in, we don't exactly know how far along in the editing process they were, so this may be a quick fix. It may not be. We're just going to have to wait and see. Where I think they really fucked up, though, in making this movie, is because that they were going to make a Sonic movie, a character who has previous games and looks. What they should have done was a few months ago, before they really started editing, was release a character trailer. Like a black room with a blue line zigzagging, and then he just kind of steps into the light and then reveals the Sonic character that they were going for. If that got bad, and if it got bad feedback and negative reviews, then they could be like, all right, we just wanted to see how that would look, and then put out the tweet that they did, like, hey, we'll redesign him, no harm, no foul. I think that's where they really messed up, was that they didn't release a character trailer or something, or a look to say, hey, this is what he's going to look like. We're going to redesign him. I know I kind of went on a little tangent, but I think it's a good idea that they're going to fix him. To make a long story short, I think it's just fan service that they're doing it for. So.
Cool. My turn.
Yes.
So, what I think... Well, I will level with you a little bit.
Okay.
I also am not a fan of his design.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't bug me to my core or anything.
Sure.
But, like, I saw it and I was like, oh, all right. You know, when I saw it, I was like, not what I thought, but okay. Because I, like you, I played the Sonic games. I'm not a huge Sonic fan by any sense of the imagination, but everyone played Sonic growing up. Or they played a video game involving Sonic, or watched a cartoon, something, right? And, however, and by the way, I want to point out, I actually didn't hate the trailer. Does the movie look good? Not really, but it looks fun. The CG and the action sequences look insanely well choreographed from the trailer. I haven't seen the movie. And I love James Marsden, and he's in it. I love him. So I was like, oh shit, this looks like fun. And coming from that perspective, I think having them announce, that the director specifically announced that they're going to redesign the character, is a horrifically bad idea. The reason I think this is horrible is for a few reasons. One, there's a very famous, I believe it's a Buddy Ryan quote, who's a famous football coach. And he is attributed with saying, if you're a coach and you listen to the fans, you'll be sitting with them the next season. And I think that that's even applicable to film. I think that by playing your hand and showing like, oh, we got criticized about the internet, let's be reactionary and just change up what Sonic looks like. To me, it's very like, what are you doing? This is your movie. You had a team of people for months work on something that fit your creative vision as a filmmaker, design it, composite it throughout an entire special effects movie, a whole feature-length film, and because some people didn't like it, you're just going to undo it? Mm-hmm. And to me, it just seemed a little bit weak. And while that's not the main reason I think it was a bad idea, it just came across from me watching it, like seeing that move, I was like, that was kind of a weak thing to do, especially because, you didn't design the character. You had a whole team of people do it, and you agreed that this is your vision, and you agreed with what he looked like, and you went through this whole thing, and now you're going to make them either redo it, or they might even get fired and have more people, I don't know the scenario. I just thought it was a weak move. But the main reason I think this is really bad and toxic for, internet backlash and just for the film itself, that statement, that whole thing was just the studio telling you that they have no faith in this movie. Because if they were sitting on gold, if they knew that they had a great film on their hands, or if they had confidence in their film, the moment that backlash started coming out, they would have released a statement, and it would have said, watch the movie. Wait till you see the movie. Because if the movie comes out and it's fantastic, nobody gives a shit about how Sonic looks. How Sonic looks affects that movie in no way. It doesn't make it worse, it doesn't make it better. The only thing that look is going to do is appease some people who complained on the internet. And that's only going to be a very small portion of the audience. Half of it's going to be people who've never even seen Sonic before, who just went to the movies because their kid wanted to go. That's not even going to faze them. And the thing is, it's not like it was so horrifically bad that it was unrecognizable as Sonic. It's not like they said it's Sonic and fucking Pikachu, like he looked like Pikachu. Like it's not like that. And also, we don't know the context for which Sonic looked that way. For all we know, I mean, this is less likely now that they said they're going to change it, but for all we know, he looked like that in our world, but when it got to his world, he looked just like how he's supposed to, because Jim Carrey looked very different in what's clearly Sonic's world in the trailer.
Yeah.
And, even if they were going to change it, having them come out and be like, okay, we listen, we're going to do it, that seems like the right thing to do now, but all that's going to do is make all the people who complained kind of be like, well, I got the power to change things in the movie, and they're like, oh, we should change this, you know what, this sucks, and they're not going to shut up about complaints they're going to have with the film. And it really all just boils down to the studio has no faith in this movie, and they literally just let us know by saying, you don't like how it looks? Oh, we'll fix it right now, just for you, it's done. Please come watch our movie because it's shit and we need the money. Pretty much exactly what that statement did. Now, there are a lot of people out there saying, the fans are the reason that the property exists, and, yada, yada. Yeah, you're not wrong. But those aren't the only people going to see this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's an entire franchise of Sonic things that the fans have that aren't a movie.
Yeah.
It's not like this is everything else Sonic's going to get erased because this movie comes out. And yeah, I've been a fan of something, and if something looks like something that it didn't look like before, in my head I'll be like, I don't really like how that looks. But I always wait till the movie comes out, because usually it has no effect on if the movie's good or bad. And just examples I'll bring up is, do you remember when the Shazam costume leaked? Set photos of the Shazam costume leaked? And the whole internet went fucking crazy over, the outfit looks stupid, oh my god, he looks ridiculous in it, blah, 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 blah. Warner Brothers, who's used to be very reactionary, by the way, did they release a statement saying, oh my god, thank you for the criticism, we're going to change his outfit. We're going to go and we're going to just digitally or whatever, we're going to change the outfit. Because it's costing money to change Sonic, by the way, for a movie that if they don't have faith in, why they're adding more money to the budget is crazy. But, they go and they do that for Shazam. And what happens? The director releases a statement saying, you haven't seen the movie. Maybe if you watch the movie, you won't care, because you don't know the context in which this outfit's being presented. And guess what? The movie came out, it was great, and no one gave a shit about his costume. Because, one, it looked better in the final product. It did. And two, even if it didn't, the movie was good. Who gives a shit about the costume?
Mm-hmm.
And then another example was Captain Marvel. I remember when the set photos released of Captain Marvel and she wasn't in the red and blue, and everyone was like, whoa, what the hell? Where's the red and blue outfit? Marvel, watch the movie. Go see the movie. It's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in the movie? She gets the outfit later, and it looks awesome in the context of the film. And also, what this does by doing this is it shows that they also have no faith in the team that they've hired. If they're just going to undo every creative decision that they've made. It's like, why did you hire these people to make this character in the first place? If you not only agreed to what they made, but you're also just going to undo what they made and the hard work that they put in because some people on the internet said, I don't like it. It really rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Now, was it a smart thing to come out and do something like that? I think yes. But I don't think it was to say you're going to redesign the character. Now, if he had come out and said, hey, I hear your criticism about the movie. We appreciate the honesty from everyone, but just, don't judge it until you've seen the movie. Like, if he just did something like that, I think that would have been a much better move. And addressing it, I think, was the good part.
Mm-hmm.
How they're handling it is what's really not biting well for me.
Yeah.
And also, I think just everything with how this film looks, because it doesn't look very great, there's just all sorts of bad signs of, like, clearly the studio has no faith in this movie because they're just going to change the redesign of a character because some people complained about it. I know I've said that like 5 times, but I'm really emphasizing that this is them telling you this is just as bad as saying your review embargo is the day before your movie. This is just as bad. And literally changing how Sonic looks is not going to change any story element in that movie. It's not going to change any plot element, any character arc. It's not going to do any of that. It will literally not make the movie better or worse. It will have zero effect on the movie. Why do it?
Fan service.
There are right and wrong ways to do fan service, though. Fan service is something that's earned. It's something that you can incorporate into your story with your characters. Avengers Endgame did fan service to a T perfectly without crossing that line of just being pandery. No part of Avengers Endgame felt pandery. This is extremely pandery. And also to the fan service thing, what I'll say is, a great way to service the fans? Make a good movie.
I think 2 things. One, it's a live-action Sonic movie.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how Sonic was going to look, he was going to look rough.
Yeah.
Whether he looked like he's supposed to, like from the games, or if they were sticking with this, regardless, it was going to look bad. I also read a report, I can't remember from where, but apparently Sega didn't like the way he looked either. And Sega is the video game company that created Sonic.
And I think they're one of the, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're one of like the main producers of the film as well. I know
Which
Paramount's
is strange,
but
because if this is Sega's movie and they didn't like the way he looked,
why you change that shit early on?
Either change it, or clearly they don't have much say in it, or they're not with the filmmakers as they're making it. They're just like, here, make the movie.
Which is not how you should make this
film.
No,
none at all.
And that's why I'm really against the decision. And, you know, and honestly, I feel bad for the director of the film, because it's a no-win scenario that he's in. But I don't know. I still feel that they shouldn't have done this.
I mean, all I'll say is if you have rushed CGI, we get Superman's mustache.
Right? And not even that. I thought the CGI in the actual trailer was awesome. Mm-hmm. It was awesome.
Well, and it was funny enough is because I don't know how any of this works. Like CG or model making. I don't know how any of that works.
Same.
So I'm just going to tell you a point that Kyler brought up.
Okay.
Because he knows probably a little bit more than we do.
Yeah.
In this aspect of it.
Yeah.
Apparently, because we were talking about it, and both Kyler and Anthony are also movie nights, and they've been with us before.
Yeah.
They both agree that this was a good move.
I know. I argue with Kyler for like an hour at the movies. And by the way, he saw my point at the end, so thanks, Kyler.
So, did he switch sides, or is he still on?
He didn't switch sides, but he said that he wasn't upset with my opinion anymore.
Okay. Well, I was never upset with your opinion.
Yeah, I know. But you know how Kyler is.
Yeah, you know how Kyler is. We love Kyler.
we love him.
But anyways, I don't know if he told you this, but he was like, it shouldn't be that expensive because literally all they have to do is just shorten the model, change the model a little bit.
And it might not be.
Yeah.
Copy and paste. Yeah.
And again, for all we know, what we saw in the trailer is all they have done for Sonic.
Maybe.
That could be all they have. Maybe they're working and editing more of Jim Carrey's scenes.
Maybe.
Because it's live action. Maybe this is their way of showing the character, like the character trailer I was talking about. Maybe this is their way of showing it to us.
Maybe.
Maybe that's all they have done. They didn't even touch the model after that.
Maybe. But even if
we
that's
don't know
the case,
that, we're not working on the movie.
If that is the case, it's a horrible fucking way to make a movie.
Agreed.
But and also, you know, and I'll say it again, if you really wanted to service the fans and please them, make a movie that's good. Don't worry about how the fucking thing's gonna look. Because like honestly, if you made the greatest movie of all time, and you had confidence like this is a great movie and people are gonna love this, and you release a trailer and then people complain about something small in the trailer, what are you gonna say to them?
Watch the movie.
Fucking watch the movie. And if they had confidence in their movie, that's what they would have said. Mm-hmm. And also, I've said that a lot, I know, but I have to emphasize like how important that is, that you have confidence in the film that you're releasing, and it's just become very apparent that they don't. And you know, something else that I'll say is, let's say this trailer showed Sonic, you know, going fast, and then he stops, sees a baby, and goes, "Fuck you, baby," and snaps its neck and keeps running.
What the fuck?
And then people online were like, I don't think Sonic would go around saying "fuck you" to babies and then murdering them. And then the director was like, you know what? I don't think that's something the character would have done either. We're going to go in and we're going to remove that scene. That fundamentally changes your movie for the better, because it literally is both a character and story decision that affects the film. Mm-hmm. If there was something like that, I would completely understand. And even then, that could have been taken out of context for all we know. Yeah. But you see what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Is that why are you complaining, one, and why are you changing, on their end, why are you changing something that has zero effect on the goodness or badness of the movie?
Well, and people are always going to complain. Like you said, people complained about the Shazam suit. People complained about the Captain Marvel suit. People complained about Heath Ledger being Joker.
People complained about Michael Keaton being Batman. Like Ben Affleck being Batman. The list goes on. The list goes on.
The Joker from Suicide Squad, so they cut significantly.
And can you imagine how differently those things would have turned out had they caved into what people were saying?
Yeah, it could have been far different. But, again, as a fan of the games, again, not a diehard fan, but I enjoyed the games. Mm-hmm. I think that this is just the company being like, all right, we want to please you as the fans. We'll do you right. That's kind of how I'm taking it. Now, I can see your point. I just don't agree with it. Now, if it were a completely original character, completely original like movie and they were like, oh, we don't like the design of the character, we don't like it, change it, and then they would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll change it. No, fuck that. It's your original movie, it's your original character. You make it the way you want it to be, because if that's the way you wanted it, clearly you had a vision for it. Yeah. But because this is I mean, yeah, if you try to make him based off the cartoon, he's going to look goofy as hell, like I said, whether he looked like this or if he looked true to the cartoon, he's going to look rough because it's
another thing I like to point out to people is Sonic's not real, so he can look like anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the example I always use, I don't know if it's going to make sense to you, but it makes sense to me, is like the way the Sonic looks now. It's like having a Detective Pikachu movie, but it's Raichu. And you just have to be like, and that's the filmmakers being like, nope, it's Pikachu, accept it. It's like, no, it's really not.
Guess what, if the movie's good, it doesn't matter.
But see,
I have an unpopular opinion about adapting things. To me, when you're a filmmaker, and it's not a documentary, documentaries are different, and you are making something that's based off another property, you are under no obligation to adapt that source material accurately. No obligation. Your job is to make the best movie that you can possibly make. And if you think that choice is following the source material closely, then great. Make that choice. We've seen that work out well before. We've also seen it work out miserably because they were slave to what they were adapting.
Mm-hmm.
This filmmaker was under no obligation to make Sonic look the perfect way that the fans want him to look.
Sure.
Zero. And which makes it all the more strange that they're changing it. And while I see your perspective, I do, of like, and the way he presented the statement, absolutely it seems like, hey, they just want to make the fans happy.
Yeah.
Which I understand, but to me, when I read that statement, while they are trying to make the fans happy, they're trying to make them happy to get into the theater, to not stay in the theater. Yeah. And that's what concerns me.
Well, and kind of just like my last thoughts on it is that my personal viewpoint, whether he looked like this and they weren't going to change him or if they were going to change him, I was going to watch the movie regardless. I never went to social media. I never complained.
Yeah.
The only person I complained to were our group of friends, mainly you whenever it came out. Mm-hmm. But again, like I was going to see the movie regardless. I don't think it looks all that good. I thought it looked bad. Jim Carrey, I think, is going to be the best part. I think them changing it is fan service. Maybe not in the best way, but to me it seems like that they're trying.
Yeah.
And because of that...
And don't get me wrong, I know I've been like hammering. I completely see your point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And and I like to emphasize to everyone watching, I don't think either of us are wrong in this scenario. It's all about how you look at things from different perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of filmmaking, is that because I'm not there making the movie, you're not there making the movie, we don't know what's happening, we're just speculating. We're seeing the source and we're just kind of like interpreting it the way that we feel that it's being presented. So any last thoughts on it? Any last statements that you want to put out?
No, I think I said all I need to say, and I think you did a wonderful job defending your point as well, because something that we want to do is promote healthy film conversation. So if you disagree with someone, please have a friendly little debate like Ryan and I had. But at the end of the day, I completely see why he has his viewpoints, and I think it's vice versa. So nothing wrong with that at all. Nobody's wrong. Yeah, no, and that's really the real reason why we enjoy doing the podcast is because it promotes like healthy debate. Definitely don't want to attack anyone. Yeah, the film fan community can get very toxic, and we just want to make sure that doesn't happen. Yeah. But no, this was a fun discourse, man. Hopefully there's more stuff that we can find in the future that we disagree on, because I enjoyed debating against you. Yeah, no, it's fun. So absolutely, but I think that's just gonna about do it for today. Do you got anything else you want to add? No. All right. Well, Far From Home trailer. Oh, there was a Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. Almost completely didn't talk about it. Yeah. Holy shit. So, a Spider-Man Far From Home trailer dropped today. If you're watching this, obviously it's on Tuesday, so yesterday, Monday, it dropped. Don't watch it if you haven't seen Endgame. Yeah. Because 5 seconds into it, there's a spoiler. Yeah. And by the way, credit where credit's due. Ryan said, I think they're going to have a spoiler warning before the trailer, and I said, that's never going to happen, and it did. Yeah. So, got to hand it to him. Yeah. I won't get into specifics yet, because still, I'm sure a lot of people haven't been able to see Endgame yet, but this movie has a lot of action from what it looks like. The trailer does, for sure. A lot of action. Hopefully that translates well to the movie, that there is a lot of action in the movie. Mysterio looks fucking awesome. The fishbowl looks fantastic. Yeah. I think
this opens up avenues for...
It's hard to be vague.
Yeah. This movie opens up avenues to different...
storytelling routes in the MCU.
Yeah. So...
I can see why they're using this to end Phase 3.
Most definitely. But, I mean, you had an interesting point earlier about opening up different routes, and what was that? I don't know if you're picking up what I'm throwing down or if you just want me to say it.
Say it, because I'm lost.
So, there's a line in this that someone's in the trailer that someone says, which I think opens up different avenues of storytelling.
Oh, I remember now.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
And then you were like, well, I think, this is what Dalton said earlier, that he thinks that they're going to start that route storyline and then end it by the end of the movie, that it's not going to carry over into different movies, that they're going to resolve whatever issue they have in that movie instead of letting it branch out.
Yeah. Just because when Captain Marvel came out, I mean, Skrulls were part of it. Everyone was like, if someone in the MCU is going to be a Skrull, the Skrulls are going to be this thing. And it's like...
And then whenever they saw the trailer, they were like, Ant-Man's a Skrull.
And then suddenly Captain Marvel came, and at the end of that movie, the Skrull problem was solved and they were sent away. And it was like, hey, it turns out this isn't going to be a huge problem. At least right now in the MCU, maybe later.
It's like quicksand. Whenever you were a child, you thought quicksand was going to be this huge problem.
Dude, I fucking love that bit of John Mulaney. Oh my god. It's so good. But yeah, amazing trailer. And my one main gripe with Homecoming, a movie that I love, but my only main gripe with it was there was no memorable action set piece to me.
Okay.
And this movie looks like it's going to have several of them. Yeah. So I'm very happy with that. But it also looks like it maintains that beautiful character and that... growing up vibe that Homecoming had. And, I don't want that to get lost for the sake of more action scenes, and it looks like they're going to do both quite well. So I'm very, very excited that that's going to happen.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. So, main takeaway is go see Endgame. Yeah,
go see Endgame, and then watch the trailer. The new trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home. It looks awesome. Yeah,
most definitely my guy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's just going to about do it for today's. We went a little bit long. That's okay.
Yeah.
Where can they find us on social media, Ryan?
You can find us on all different platforms. First one being Facebook, movie nights. That's where we post most of our content, I'd say.
Yeah.
We're also on Twitter at nights or is it movie _ nights or nights _ movie. Instagram nights_movie as well. And then, of course, if you're listening on SoundCloud or any other... iTunes, yeah. Sorry, I usually don't do this bit. But if you're listening on there, we thank you, but encourage to watch us on YouTube as well. That's where all these videos get posted to.
And subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/movie nights.
Yeah, what the man said. Do what the man said. Don't take my word for it. Take his word for it.
And, again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.